And I see that Michigan great, that all-time maize and blue great, Colin Kaepernick, is the honorary captain and going to officiate the coin toss. So Colin Kaepernick, I'm a little sketchy, a little spotty on his Michigan history. I don't know why. There's a gap there in my mind. I got a mental block when it comes to Colin Kaepernick. In Michigan, I don't know why I blanked out on the years that he was there. You know, I got the Henne years, the Navarre years, the Denard Robinson years, even the Tate Forcier years, all those going back to the late 70s and Rick Leach. But the Colin Kaepernick years, I don't know. I've got some kind of mental block. Maybe I didn't watch college football for 2 or 3 or 4 years. All right, great to have everyone here. Poking a little fun at the maize and blue. Michigan fans, you know that we love you here. And you might be the largest fan base that we have here at the Voice of College Football. So I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And therefore, of course, we set the winged helmet above all else today. That's unfortunately for you Michigan fans, the only Michigan memorabilia or gear that I have in the house. That's it. Web Security chiming in. This is the first comment of the day. Played for Nevada 06 to 2010. Please let me know if not accurate. Web Security, I hope you're just giving us information there and you're not responding to my dissertation on Colin Kaepernick. There was a lot of wink wink there. Okay, I think there was a lot of wink wink there. I think you got it. Ferris got it. Let's go from the top here. Appreciate everybody being here. I'm excited today. I am excited. We got about 60 people on the line. Great to have all of you here as we take into Michigan football. I'm going to pull up the roster. We're going to be locked in. And I know that they've given some analysis before the game on the Big Ten Network. Devin Gardner, I could have added him to my list of Forcier, Scott Sheridan, Navarre. I think if we go all the way back to Mike, if we go to, I almost said Mike Leach, Rick Leach, Mike Leach, Mississippi State, just read an article about his contract last night, actually. It's a bit tenuous right now, Mike Leach's contract at Mississippi State. But Rick Leach, baseball player, Detroit Lions system. But, yeah, 1975 to 78. Here we go. Big kickoff. This is what we're basically going to see most of the season, as we have the last few years. The kickoff just... I don't even know if they're bringing back the kickoff. I'm going to run and get some water when we get a break in play here, just to let you know. There he is, Cade McNamara. I liken him to Stetson Bennett, the quarterback that nobody wants, the quarterback that his own fan base, despite winning a championship, the guy is a championship quarterback, and he has had to remind many Michigan fans that of this spring. Playing a 12-minute quarter, I see here. It's good to see we're hitting a little bit here. A little contact on the first play. Not necessarily a devastating hit, but a little contact with Donovan Edwards going to the outside for a big -2. Yeah, Donovan Edwards, excited to see what he's going to do this year. Multi-talented guy. Nice little pass breakup or a drop. Tried to go with a slant to Edwards. Again, let's get a replay on that. I love to see replays. When I see a play like that and I don't quite know if it was dropped or it was a pass breakup, replay. Give me a replay. 3rd and 11. From the top, exploring with Ben. Good to see you. Ferris. Good to see Ferris here. Leon Hurricanes, Miami fan for the Michigan spring game. Leon, appreciate you being here. 3rd and 11 for the maize and blue, or just for the blue, I guess. Cade McNamara needed to work on the deep ball. Guess he still needs to work on the deep ball. Cornelius Johnson out there. Yo, Ferris. Tyler Lewis, let me catch up to these comments. Good to see Tyler and Cody. Gary Lewis. Good to see you, Gary, as always. 2 live streams at the same time, 2 live streams at the same time, unless I screwed something else up, hopefully. Nice punt. Good Lord. Got the punt returner back on his heels trying to track that one down. Andrell Anthony, of course. We first saw him really break out against Michigan State last year. That's when I thought, hey, Michigan does have a game changer on the outside on the perimeter. Wasn't frequently used besides that, though. Oh, okay, McNamara. This is why he's got the white on. Got it. He's quarterbacking for both sides. Parker. Good to see you. Blake Corum bouncing things to the outside and couldn't get wrapped up there. Ed owes me $20. I have not forgotten. Remind me, Ed. Cody, good to see you. Ferris, Michigan should win this. Confident Michigan fan. I like to hear it. Confident Michigan fan. They should win this. Little 2nd and 5 play. McNamara working on the deep ball again. That one was pretty much on time and on target. Maybe a tad underthrown, possibly. Oh, that was Mike Sanders still on defense. Michigan fans, you know, Mike Sanders still from his wide receiver play last year and now jumping over to the defensive side. And he may play both ways, we understand, this year. Eddie, in the spirit of the Michigan game, Michigan is trash. Rob J, good to see you, man. Ferris, you got to put up with it. Ooh. Little sack. This is what, of course, is the downside to the spring game is unless a pass rusher gets right to the quarterback and basically has him wrapped up, these sacks are a bit phantom sacks. Who knows? Cade McNamara might have been able to toss the ball away or get away from that or whatever. Michael Barrett, really good Michigan player off the edge there. And the Mays gets it at their own 43. Tyler Lewis, yes, celebrating the Big Ten championship. Gary, wondering if the 22 Michigan D-line will have a major drop-off. That's what we would expect, to have a pretty significant drop-off with 2 stars gone. And also Mazi Smith in the middle coming back, though. Probably stronger in terms of depth because of the recruiting being as good as it's been. And a lot of the guys that played last year coming back, but the 2 stars gone. Eye that competition. Got to eye everybody. We eye everyone here at the Voice of College Football. This is just the launch of our big spring game coverage throughout the month of April. We're going to be here every Saturday, at least for the next 4, 9th, 16th, 23rd, maybe the 30th. We'll have to double check on the... Oh, Leon can see the U helmet. You got it there. All right. We got it right there for you. We'll actually, Leon, do this for you. We'll move it into a more prominent... Is that a more prominent position? In front of the LSU helmet. Until some LSU fans tell me otherwise. 2nd and 4. Okay, that ball should have been to the outside. Davis Warren in the ball game for Michigan. Okay, so Cade played both sides there for the first series, and now Cade Warren steps in. And again, not the best ball. Now, if that guy would have been open, like college open, not NFL open, he was NFL open, but not college open, then that ball would have been fine, but needed to get that to the outside. Now, okay, now that was a nice ball. That was where it needed to be. And Donovan Edwards showing his receiving skills. This is what's exciting about Donovan Edwards. He showed us most notably in the Maryland game with 10 catches for $150 last year that he can do this. He gets pushed by the DB and he's strong enough when Niall Hill Green pushed him. Edwards stayed up and the contact knocked down Green. Oh, AJ Henning with a drop. Gary says Wolverines college football adjacent by 23. Sparty should be strong due to major upgrades at quarterback and wide receiver. Rob J, you and everybody else wishes JJ was playing just to get a look at JJ and compare the two quarterbacks. Ed says Michigan's like my side chick. The only looks good when I'm drunk. Are we drinking early today, Ed? Or are you just suffering? Justin, glad you could be here. Running to the outside. And Donovan Edwards gets pushed back. And it looks like we've got a holding call. Rod Farva believes that JJ should be the starter, regardless. Appreciate the contribution coming in. I will get to it soon. Number 55 with a hold. Oh, yeah. So if you've heard about this center, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because I don't have it in front of me, for one thing. But the Virginia Remington Trophy finalist. He is the new Michigan center, and he's supposed to be one of the best in the country. There we see it, 2021 Remington Trophy finalist with a hold for Michigan. So that should be a bit of an upgrade for Michigan. Missed pass breakup by the DB, and AJ Henning with a nice catch. Nice hands catch there. Rob says he can't get it on TV today. Too early to go to the bar watch, so have to only go on Mark's account. Yes, you get the word right here, Rob J. Cody, I think losing Walker is going to hurt them, meaning Michigan State worse than they think. The two transfer kids are good, but not on his level. No. Few backs in the country are on Kenneth Walker's level. We said it here last summer that Kenneth Walker was one of the great under-the-radar additions in the transfer portal. That ball was either thrown away or a horrible pass. But good coverage out there on the left side. Now we got the 4th and 6. Looks like we're going to see a kick. Mowerman USA. I don't know. Forgive me if I've not seen your handle before or somehow forgotten it, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. It's great to have you here as a 50-plus year Michigan fan. No more. Let's go Harbaugh. Colin Kaepernick, are you kidding me? That POS. Here's an idea, Jim. Go back and take your wife with you to your beloved woke California. Woo! Mowerman USA, laying it down. Leon still tells us that Michigan State is good. All right, what do we have here? Devin Gardner to Jake Butt. Oh, we got Jake Butt at the ball game as well. No web security. I will be on Michigan Podcast with Steve Dace coming up this Tuesday. And yeah, I want to run the all-time program rankings by Steve, especially the Big Ten, but the entire country. So I got to have him on soon. The Maze converts the field goal. David with a little trash talk for Tyler. Congrats for the Big Ten championship. You'll have to wait another 17 years. Who is that against? Is that Northwestern? With some serious alternate jerseys on that replay. Hey, Sue. The Rod Farva pulling out a quote from 2016, going back 6 years. Apparently, Jim Harbaugh on Cap's kneeling back in 2016. I don't support the motivation or the action. Blake Corum got the edge. That was easy. That was not Blake Corum. That was the right side setting the edge. Web security, who is favored to win the Big Ten in 2022? I think that's a great question because I think it's going to be fairly close. Michigan has been the favorite a couple times during this Ohio State run of dominance, a couple times recently under Harbaugh. And then obviously the Buckeyes did what they did. But then last year, of course, Ohio State was an enormous favorite and Michigan was not even the second choice and won the Big Ten championship. So what do we know? Let's all admit that Colin Kaepernick took that starting job and he did run with it and go to a Super Bowl. So I know I had some fun with that off the top, and I truly did have fun. Mowerman coming strong with his opinion. We appreciate that as long as we're respectful of everyone in regards to language, sex, gender, race, etc. All right, back to the football. Sam Stamos with a go blue. Third and 10. Cade's in the ball game, and we've got a timeout. Got to talk up some strategy for third and 10 in the spring game. Gary was just checking out Cade McNamara's bio. He played a lot of baseball, apparently, as well. Rob J., my biggest worry is Harbaugh, thinking last year is the new normal and gets soft. When you do something like Michigan achieved last year, you can either use that to build the confidence and move on from there, or you can let it get you a bit complacent. Next Saturday, noon, Purdue, 2, Nebraska. We're going to be right here. Cade McNamara Plenty of time. Dumps it down to Blake Corum. Shifty move. Really made Michael Barrett miss on that one. DeAndre's here. What's up, Mark? What's up, DeAndre? Appreciate you being here. The voice of college football. You know that, man. Thank you so much for the contribution. Got a punt coming up. Decent punt. Down to the 9. Justin, appreciate you being here. Thank you for that. Oh, David, and coming at it here. Thanks for the motivation, but we have enough. Trust me. It will be fitting to put you all back in your little hole again. Let's start back up. Fire hairball chance again. All right. Mace with the ball. Kate McNamara with the ball. Swing out to AJ Henning. He gets nothing. Nice play by the corner, fighting off the block. Hey, Antoine, good to see you, man. Third and 8. Okay. It is the spring game. We can probably risk a 4th and 1 at our own 20. Unless there's something on the line. I don't know if these guys are playing for something. I'm shaking my head too, SEC dog. No Georgia helmet. Nobody has sent me a Georgia helmet. Shaking my head too. I'll take a Georgia helmet. Dave's here. Michael, good to see you here. All right, 1st and 10 for the Blue. Trips left, so they run it right. Different D coordinator for Michigan, but the same defense. Second and 9. Swing pass out there. Yeah, Ferris got to see Devin Gardner. He's happy about that. Rob, call the game like Bob Uber. Euchre? Euchre? Eufer? Euchre? Oh, the ref got pounded on that one. Got a little sandwiched. That would happen to me every other play. Colin's gone. We won't even say goodbye. That's been a while ago. Oh, Gary made a Ernie Harwell reference. Love it. 90 seconds left in the first half. We are seeing the front liners on both squads, that's for sure. We will start to see the depth here probably in the next few series. Good to see John Denard, Riley. Excuse me on that one, Eric All. That was fun. And let the tight ends do the double pass. Cool. Boop. The real MVP, good to see him. A little stretch play to the left and stacked up on a Dunlap. Michael, as we talked about at the time, thank you for that backup with the middle of the defensive line being stronger despite Ajabo and Hutchinson gone from the outside. Exploring with Ben, got to do what I got to do. Got to pay homage to our viewers more than anything. I got to say that we took a poll of sorts. Most of you guys probably remember this, that a few months back, I was asking for you to send me an email basically telling me how long you've been watching, who you root for. And I was taking account of fan bases. So if you haven't done that yet, please do it. Let's see here. Give me just a second. See if I can find my email. It's MarkRogersTV at Gmail. MarkRogersTV at Gmail. There it is. Who's your team? Tell me who your team is, how long you've been watching, and anything else you want to tell me. Many of you told me stories about how you became a college football fan or anything else. Any kind of interesting stories, brushes with celebrities, anything. But I probably got about 400 or 500, and Michigan's got a nice little lead. I do believe that the Michigan fan base is the largest fan base here at the Voice of College Football. So thank you for that. But if you have yet to write me, please send me who your team is and how long you've been watching and anything else you would like to let me know there at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Who is your team? while we enjoy the Big Ten Network promos. Ed's talking big. Uncle is benching Cade. Uncle Rico benches Cade already. Gone on the bench. More man, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your great work, Mark. Can't say I will ever pull for Ohio State, but I am done with any team coached by the woke Harbaugh. More man, coming strong. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the contribution and a touchdown, Michigan. Just plow it straight ahead, Michigan style. There was a one-on-one matchup between Dunlap and Turner, and Dunlap just rode him into the end zone. Javier Dunlap out of Deval, Texas, Deval High School in Texas. 26th rated running back in his class of 2021, 60th rated player in Texas, number 410 nationally. And I don't know if he played at all last year. I don't remember him. Defensive first round picks for the Wolverines in the last 5 years. They've had 5. Peppers, Charlton, Bush, Gary, and Pay. Hutchinson, Ajabo, and Hill. Probably 2 of those 3. Javier Dunlap had 7 carries last year for 51 yards. I just got to know these things. Tony's calling it an Ohio State win by 50 this year over the Maize and Blue. 50. All right, here we go from the 25. New look defense, Jess Minter, new defensive coordinator, along with Steve Klingscale. Key losses, we've talked about those guys, Dax Hill included. Also Brad Hawkins. That ball was off by a mile, even if that was interference, which it was not. Incidental contact. Oh, hot dogs versus steaks. Okay. Here we go. All right, we got a 1st and 10. Oh, nice move on the outside. So they set the edge, but there was one guy to beat. So the back did what a good back should do. Gave it a step inside and then right. Khalil Mullins. So he's a linebacker, listed as a linebacker, playing some running back. Hey, John, good to see you. I can't beat it. Sun's out, windows open, watching college football, well, scrimmage, and having fun watching some trash talk. We're going to have that. Ferris, yes, we did a live stream last week with our all-time program rankings. Check it out. We ran down the top 20. Went with the top 20 all-time program list. All-time. Not today, all-time. So Ferris, check out the stream. We did a long stream. We were on here for almost 4 hours. All right, the maze is on the move. Whoa. Cade Warren's got some work to do. Chad is asking, West Virginia's best defensive lineman is leaving. Any chance Michigan offers after losing starting defensive ends? Well, let's look into that because it's funny that you say that, Chad. We do have a West Virginia live show tonight, live stream with West Virginia Live tonight at 8 Eastern. Davis Warren finds Cornelius Johnson down to the 10. So that was Cade Warren rolling left and then throwing back across his body. Oh, yeah. Akeem Mesidor. That's right. I did see that. Akeem Mesidor, the West Virginia defensive lineman, will be entering the transfer portal. Let's see what he did last year. Eight tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 38 tackles. Akeem Mesidor, West Virginia. Any chance Michigan offers? I think there's a chance. There's a chance. I don't know how much they like what they've got coming back behind Ajabo and Hutchinson. Up the middle and down to the 5. I like the spring game wager. Winner gets steaks, loser gets hot dogs. I'm good with that. Angelica, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Steve Dace is an analytical genius. I would agree. My husband has won a nice chunk of change using his analytics. Go blue. JJ should be the starter. Oh. That's a live ball, apparently. Picked up for the touchdown. So a fumble inside the 5 by the back that's done a nice job. So the back number 20's had a really good series, Mullins, but he dropped this one. He was going for extra yardage. Got it knocked out, but so Mullins stretching that out. Shouldn't have. You got to know where you are on the field when you're going to stretch the ball out. Are you going for a critical first down? Are you going for the touchdown? And do you feel confident? Have you done that before? Have you proven that you can do that and you're willing to risk the consequences? There, he's just at the 4-yard line. Tony is telling us that he believes that Iowa will win the Big Ten with a competent quarterback who's not okay. With a competent quarterback. Big Ten not usually stingy on YouTube channels showing a game, not gonna dig for blackout game. Hey, glad I'm getting backed up on the broadcast. That is not the time to be reaching the ball. Gary, way ahead of us with the rumor about the West Virginia linebacker Messidor leaving. Linebacker / D end. Oh, so the runner was down. All right, so the calf was down. So Mullins is saved. Whoa, so Mullins has saved a fumble. And so is the Mays, so they can kick the field goal. This could be the difference between a steak or a hot dog. I would hope that they would get more than one hot. They each probably get a steak. Like a now, what is your steak of choice? So I'm a big ribeye steak guy. The flavor is phenomenal. A good ribeye. 4th and goal here. Then I would go with the porterhouse. Oh, threw it short. Broke it up anyway. Good D. Good D. Not the best of plays there. You got to run the game. Okay, they got to teach these receivers to run past the marker. The marker at that point was the goal line. Run past the goal line. Mowerman, appreciate you being here. Signing off, Mark. Love your work with Steve Day. Stay healthy and happy and enjoy the fall. Pulling for your beloved Buckeyes. God, I cannot believe I just said that. Thanks, Mowerman. You're probably not hearing me right now, but appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for the contribution. Will Penn State play into the Big Ten race? If I had to call it right now, yes, web security. I believe that Penn State will be a factor in the Big Ten race. And I do think that Nebraska is a much better team than their record showed us last year. You are what your record says you are, unless you're Nebraska. Then you're, if they repeat what they did this past season, that'll be the biggest anomaly in sports. Number one. Number two, that will show me, okay, this is truly a 3-9 football team. I think it's more like a 6-6 football team. Oh, we got some Michigan Wolverines in the USFL, which starts pretty soon. Carlo Kemp, Shea Patterson, Channing Stribling, Davion Smith. Okay. Ferris says we tolerate Harbaugh. We don't love Harbaugh. Didn't most Michigan fans love Harbaugh when he got hired? There's the throw to the right side. Misfire. Oh, here we've got the Texas Tech transfer, Alan Bowman, who I think most of us expected to be a bigger factor heading into last season's competition. Threw 33 touchdowns and 17 picks at Texas Tech, was a part-time starter there, but he missed the throw there. And I got to think at this point, if Alan Bowman cares about playing football, and he obviously does if he's as good as he is, that he's got to question his decision to go to Michigan. It killed his career. I don't know if he has NFL aspirations, but he's probably not good enough. He's most definitely not good enough. So maybe the Michigan education lured him there. Fish says Ohio State will be on another level of anyone else on offense. How far they go will depend on Jim Knowles. And I expect there to be a significant upgrade on the defensive side for Ohio State. And like I said in a couple different streams and videos last week, CJ Hicks and Sonny Styles, don't want to put too much on them as freshmen, but Ohio State needs an impact linebacker. I mean, a serious star impact linebacker. They haven't had one since Raekwon McMillan, the most recent. Spike Lee's at the ball game. All right. DeAndre asking, will the Nebraska be a power again? No. No. Not a power. Too much going against them from a recruiting standpoint. The Rod Farva, Harbaugh tolerates Michigan, doesn't love Michigan, hence why he tries to leave. Antoine says there's almost no benefit to a hard non-conference schedule unless you have a tied-up record. Antoine, I got to say, there's a lot of truth to your statement right there. Washington went to a college football playoff with the worst non-conference schedule in the country, and the Pac-12 was just about as bad as it is now in 2016. And Washington, just win your conference, don't lose more than one game. If you win your conference in the Power Five and don't lose more than one game, you've got a 90-some% chance of making the playoff. There's only been, one team missed the playoff with a conference championship and only one loss, correct? Ohio State, 2018. That's it. Right? 2014. Oh, Baylor and TCU in 2014. 2015, nobody. 2016, nobody. 2017, nobody. 2018, nobody. 2019, 2020, 2021. So it's very rare. So yes, this is what's wrong with college football. Antoine is pointing it out right there. There is no serious incentive to schedule a difficult non-conference, and the scheduling shouldn't even be handled by the schools. It should be handled by an objective process. Dave loves Harbaugh. Uncle Rico says Harbaugh and Cooper are essentially the same winning percentage, same failure against their rival. At this point. Jim Harbaugh has not had the seasons John Cooper had in 1993, 95, 96, 98. But Jim Harbaugh is obviously still coaching and therefore has a chance to right that wrong. He has a chance to make up for that. Harbaugh's what, 1-5? Cooper 2-10. Same record. Porter says college football is better when Michigan is good. Congrats to the Maize and Blue for a great season in 21. Almost halftime, 7-3. Still carry there by Franklin. Leon Franklin, 8 carries last year. Everybody's who's asking about where they can find the game. It's on the Big Ten Network. And if you go online, I don't know where you can find it. I always Google whatever game I'm looking for. How do I watch online? Second and 10. Warren is 8 for 15, and he's looked like 8 for 15. There haven't been drops. It's just him missing passes. So Michigan fans, based on what I've seen of Warren today, you want Cade McNamara to be fine and J.J. McCarthy to get back as soon as possible. You don't want to go to the third guy. Ferris, Michigan has a winning record against Ohio State. Fact. Then we, the yeah, but Ohio State program filled with yeah, buts. Michigan owns the series against Ohio State. Michigan owns the number of Big Ten championships, 43-40. But we know recently Ferris. What? Slicing it down the middle. Ferris. Come on. McFluffness. Cornelius Johnson down to the 12. The Maize could take the lead here in the last few seconds. They're going to have to manage the clock well. Down to the 12-yard line with 20 seconds left. You like my glasses, my fluffiness. good to have some. Leon. Hey, Leon, appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much for the contribution, sir. Appreciate that. D Sizzle says, don't sleep on Warren. Okay. He doesn't look great to me, but it's a small sample size. He hasn't made any bad mistakes. Oh, Kaepernick's going to put on a throwing exhibition at halftime. Wonder what that's going to look like. Guess we'll find out. Don't know if that was a great play call. Running. Oh my goodness. What did they just do? Oh, okay. That was botched. They run the ball with the clock stopped with 20 seconds left at the 12-yard line, and it doesn't go anywhere. And then they call a timeout. They don't get it clocked or don't do anything or run a play or anything. And now there's 4 seconds left. So basically, you should kick. If there was more like 6 seconds. But yeah, if this were a real game, botched big time. Hey, Bryant. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Mark, you're doing a wonderful job. Appreciate you. Go Blue. So the Mays botches the time situation there late in the first half, but they kick a field goal, and we've got dogs and steaks on the line. Doesn't get too much closer than this at 7-6. Caps ripping off the sweats, the Michigan sweats, and going to put on an exhibition that we all are waiting with bated breath to see. John's 3 plays behind. If this were a real game, John, I would feel bad about calling out the plays. Leon, appreciate you being here, man. Love it when we see other college football fans who are in a stream for a different team. I don't know why I love that, but I love it. Kyle, I believe, is responding to when I asked people to write in with who they root for and how long. Please send that to MarkRogersTV at Gmail. I'm keeping track, and I am keeping a fan base, viewer base count. Michael has been a Michigan fan for 38 years, owns a pickle farm. That's cool. John says Nate Silver, I'm not aware of him. Anyway, Nate Silver did a statistical study of college football some years ago, and if I recall correctly, Michigan and Notre Dame have the most fans. Would not surprise me. Got some Marty Brenneman talk in here. Good stuff. Kyle, appreciate you encouraging everyone to hit the like button. Now let's check out this exhibition of throwing by Colin Kaepernick. What's the temperature out there? What's the temp in Ann Arbor this week? Let's see. 40. And sunny? Doesn't look that sunny. Okay, here we go. Cap, do. Okay, he can throw a swing pass. Got that established. Oh, got these. Yeah. He's telling these cameramen to get out of his face. That was a bit much. They were like right in his face, and he just bam, threw it right over. Okay. Oh, this is his own camera crew. Throwing some more swing passes. I want to see. Can't wait till he throws like a long out. Hmm. Ross is telling us Javier's first play last year was like a 40-yard TD run that got called back. I think it was his first play anyway. Huh. Rob thinks Bama wins the Natty because Saban's focused. His team's pissed off. Bootleg. Okay, that wasn't the best throw in the world. Not horrible, but not the best. Okay. That ball could have been caught across the middle, but it wasn't the best throw. How old is Kaepernick now? If he started school in 06, he got drafted in 10, right? So he's about 33, 34. Well, there we go. Exploring with Ben, as long as Ohio State can stop the run, we should be fine because Minnesota and Oregon exposed them bad last year. And how about Michigan? That was not the best ball to the outside. The guy had to drag his feet, go to his knee to catch. Harbaugh's calling out the routes. Web security. Do you think Ohio State's defensive issues were mostly at D line, linebacker, or DB? Last season, I would say linebacker 1, DB 2, line a distant third. I say the same thing, Uncle Rico. If McNamara gets hurt, they'd be in rough shape. Now he's going deep. Jet mech. Oh, long one. He missed him. Or he dropped it. Couldn't tell. Jet mech here. Saban doesn't have any fire or passion left. Dude is washed. Yeah. Dude blew the national championship game in the last 4 minutes. Throw to the outside. Web security. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Thumbs up and sub for the best college football analysis in the world. Thank you so much for that. Gary is telling us that Messidor already put out a short list. Don't remember if Michigan is on the visit list. Okay. Let's see. I don't see his list. All right, here's Messidor's list. Plans to take an unofficial visit to Penn State. He's also in the process of planning an official visit to USC, which offered him Thursday. Other schools Messidor has heard from include Auburn, LSU, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Pitt. A few other schools like Miami are also expected to be involved per a source. There you go. Hey, Nicholas, appreciate you being here. No call in at this point. We'll start the call ins. Maybe not wait till the end of the game, but at some point we will do the call ins either late in the second half or after the ball game. Scrimmage. Rob, you got to feel that way, don't you? If Jimbo cannot win big this year, I understand the schedule stuff, but that's what he signed up for, and other teams are getting it done, i.e. Alabama and Georgia and LSU in 19, and even Florida to a better extent than Texas A&M has. When Dan Mullen got it going there for a couple of years. A lot of 8 and 4s for Texas A&M. Big overthrow. Cap still throwing. Oh, was he off on that one? Way underthrown. He has thrown a lot of football here. Jet Mech, Saban lost to 2 SEC teams last year, one of them pretty pathetic and barely got past a team led by Dan Mullen. the most feminine coach in college football history. Saban is washed up. If Saban's washed up, then everybody's washed up. So they're all playing washed up coaches. Nomahay says that Iowa will have the best defense in the Big Ten, and they just recruited a 4-star quarterback, which was their biggest weakness. Talking about Deuce Hogan? Or not Deuce Hogan. He's the guy that left, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, Carson May. Yep. Forgot about him. Deep ball. Okay. I think he's about wrapped it up here. Rod Favre, exactly. Too many people think A&M is going to dominate this year with a bunch of freshmen. I don't get it. Yeah, Max Johnson is going to have to play out of his mind. Yeah, the class is remarkable, but you can only expect those guys to be so good as freshmen. Maybe 2 or 3 of them pop big, and then a handful of them, more than a handful, contribute heavily. But you can't expect 22 freshmen to come in and take over the team and win big. Exploring with Ben. Loves the steaks down in Texas. McFluffiness, 24-ounce porterhouse. Yeah, it's a good call. It's a good steak. John says, I'll put it this way. As long as Jimbo Fisher is calling the offensive plays in College Station, I'm not overly worried about the Ags. That's supposed to be his thing, though. Quarterback development, offensive scheme, play calling. Rob says Jimbo has done 0 without Winston as his quarterback. That's almost 100% true. EJ Manuel, they won an ACC championship in the Orange Bowl. But yeah, Rob, I'm with you. Jet Mack making his official. Is this the official one, Jet Mack? National championship pick for 2022, Ohio State, Alabama, even though Saban is washed. That's right. Saban's washed up, but they get back to the national championship game. Picking Ohio State to win it all. for me to pick Ohio State to win it all, I'm really going to have to project that defense to be much better. I know that the offense is probably the best in the country, but the defense is going to have to be top 15 or 20 because Alabama's defense is going to be exceptional. And I do believe that they, as we sit here at the beginning of April, no April Fools, I can't do that. It's Saturday. It's the 2nd, that Alabama and Ohio State have the two best teams in the country. On paper, that's all we're talking about right now. But, man, Ohio State's got a lot to prove. Utah, Florida, week 1. Love that matchup. John going against the rest of us. I think the winner getting steak is kind of dumb. Spring games should be scripted to minimize injuries and work on weaknesses. If Michigan gets an injury here, I'm going to laugh and say, typical Harbaugh. It's a point. Jet Mac, this was a long time ago. I believe he was commenting back to my statement about basically if you win a Power 5 conference and only lose one game, you're in the playoff. Because I was responding to Antoine's comment that what is the motivation or the incentive to schedule difficult non-conference, especially if you're in the SEC, number one, then probably the Big Ten, number two, and then on down the line. What is the incentive to schedule difficult non-conference? If you win a conference, only lose one game, you're going to make the playoffs 90% of the time. Some dude. Colin Kaepernick's appearance has polarized college football fans here. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Should not shy away from sharing opinion. Deshante brings up a good point here that at least 10 kids from the Texas A&M all-time recruiting class of 22 will be in the portal this time next year. Yeah, because they all expect to play, and they can't all play. They expect to play because they're super, super blue chippers. So if they're starting to go into their sophomore season and they see, okay, I didn't play as a freshman, and it's not looking good the way it stacks up on the depth chart, and after spring practice, okay, that's enough. Gone. Yep. But you still rather stack that recruiting class and lose 20% of it than not stack it and lose 20% of it, because everybody's going to be losing talent. All right, here we go with a little run to the outside on the high snap. First play of the second half. Stetson Bennett with a nice play for the Mays. All right. I think as the spring game kind of lulls into the third quarter here at 7-6, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll be watching it. Maybe we'll hook up the phone lines. What do you think? We'll hook up the phone lines and start taking some calls. Some dude, hit the like button. Appreciate you encouraging everyone to do just that. Okay, Dan Mullen, Jet Mac, was not a failure in every way. He got to Gainesville, improved the team. Then he just went off the rails the last season. Didn't coach well, didn't lead well, made stupid mistakes, said stupid things, made about 7 or 8 stupid choices, and then out. That led in from the tail end of 2020 in a season in which they finally beat Georgia, finally won the division championship, played Alabama to a certain extent tougher than anyone that season. There was a sack, and that was a legit sack there. Okay, I guess Cade McNamara was not live, but the other quarterbacks are. Good to see a legit sack. Little contact for these QBs. 94 gets in there. He whipped 60. So that was Chris Jenkins, who had 22 tackles last year. No sacks, half a tackle for loss. Felipe wishes Nebraska and Michigan would have played. That was 1997 when they both went undefeated. Absolutely. No, Mahe, has anyone ever had the best quarterback, running back, and wide receiver all the same year before, like Ohio State could possibly have this year? Maybe in the Pete Carroll days at USC with Mark Sanchez. Was he the best quarterback in football? Probably not quite. In college football, drop on the outside by 38. Joe Taylor needs to hit the weights, apparently. Joe Taylor there. Looks a little smallish. Yeah, when you say the very best at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, there's always going to be an argument who's the best. But when you talk about elite, good response there by Mahe, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Justin Ross. Yes, it's just me, Tim79. I like this too. Full contact. Got to give him that. Rob, appreciate that. Thumbs up to you, man. Thanks for encouraging everyone to hit the like button. Please at least do that, folks. Hit the like button. All right. I think we will go to the phone lines. And give me just a second to get things set up. Ooh, Exploring with Ben. Check your P.O. Box Monday afternoon, Mark. Might be a new addition for the collection to please some of the champion fans. Exploring with Ben. I think he might have given it away, but thank you. All right, let's look at this Michigan schedule. We know that the non-conference is awful. We know that the non-conference is horrible. And then the next thing you look at when you look at a Big Ten schedule would be who you play in the other division. Well, they've got Iowa on the road. And they, of course, play Nebraska at home. They struggled with the Huskers last year. And the other games, Illinois, probably the worst team in the West Division. Not a super tough schedule for Michigan. We are going to fire up the phone lines. Give me just a second. Oh, let me track down my phone. Hang on. Get some water. I can't find my phone. I just went to the store right before I fired up the live stream. Hang on. Not started a show session in Colin's studio and cannot yet receive calls on Mark Rogers' Voice of College Football. We'll get there. We'll get there. Here we go. Your website and begin your session. Music will play until your session begins. You may call back when you are ready. Welcome, host. You are now in the host room. If you ever had your phone fall out of your pocket while you're driving or in the car and it goes down in the between the seat. Yeah. That's it. Eight 499-3332. What did I miss? Dunlap, big run. I see Alan Bowman still in the game. And again, 860-499-3332. Got a call coming. Give me just a second to switch over our audio. Oh, I believe I know who we're talking to. Welcome into the Voice of College Football.
Team to cover. I mean, seriously, some losers from up north. Only Harbaugh can pull a stunt where he gets Colin Kaepernick to come in and be like some. I mean, what is that all about?
I don't know. If
honorary captain or
well, I don't know. Yes, he is the honorary captain, Dave.
What a joke.
I don't know if you caught the beginning of the stream here when we first jumped on the air of sorts. here. So I don't know if you saw that, Dave, but I was asking those same questions.
Yeah, I wonder what your bromance Steve Davis thinks of that. I bet he's not exactly a big fan.
Probably not. Probably not. I was asking the audience because I just thought maybe I had some kind of mental block where I was running down all the Michigan quarterbacks through the years, and I must have missed the Colin Kaepernick years.
That's right. Well, I mean, I get it. He had him with the Niners. He got very close to winning a Super Bowl with them. You know, we get all that. But yeah, I think this is just publicity. He's just trying to, stir some things up as he wants to do. This is just, Harbaugh doing Harbaugh things, in my view.
That is a Harbaugh thing to do. It is.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Who took the majority of snaps for them? Did McCarthy take a lot of snaps, or was it McNamara, or what?
McCarthy's out.
Oh, okay.
So he's not played at all.
My bad.
McNamara's got the white jersey on, so he has taken snaps for both sides, and he ran the offense, I believe, the first two series for both sides, and then the other backup quarterback stepped in after that. Mostly Warren. Can't think of his first name,
right.
But the backup quarterback, and Alan Bowman, who I'd since kind of forgotten about, the Texas Tech transfer quarterback, who I thought was going to have more of a say in the starting job possibly last year after he came in from Texas Tech, but he's been playing as well.
Did your Team Up North fans, are they ready to turn the page? Are they ready to see the McCarthy era start up there if he's fully healthy, by the way?
Oh, it sure looks like it. The fans are. It appears that way. Yeah. I liken Cade McNamara to Stetson Bennett. They are the championship winning quarterbacks that their teams don't want or their fan bases don't want.
Sure. Yeah, because, I mean, like I said, you can call it a divisive term if you want, but they're game manager type quarterbacks. I'm not saying you can't win with a game manager type quarterback. Obviously, Georgia proved it this year. But and Bama won with those type of quarterbacks, for years. But, just because you had a great run of starting NFL quarterbacks, starting with Deshaun Watson there for about 5 years, I think that everybody thinks you have to have this generational type quarterback now.
Well, you don't, but it certainly helps. And it's the most important position on the field. And to have an elite guy, especially as the passing game has become more and more impactful and much more prolific, then, it's just an obvious equation to make. You need an elite quarterback, or if you don't have one, then everything else has to be elite or near.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. He's a 5-star, though he's heavily recruited. You really just saw him, a lot of running plays last year. He did get to throw the ball a lot for them, more or less in more garbage time type situations, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at his stats right here, 59 passes. He did throw a pretty important pass against Wisconsin. When that was a close game, he threw like a 50-yard bomb for a TD in that game when, of course, Michigan, before they had proven that they were going to be any good last year. So that was a big pass that he threw that comes to mind.
Yeah, I know that he did some running and he was, effective in certain situations with his legs. Although I tell you what, I think a couple of those fumbles is what cost him the Michigan State game.
Yeah, he had 2 of those. And it was a bit curious as to why he was on the field for at least one of them, because I believe that McNamara was in the tent getting examined for one of them.
Yeah, McNamara actually had a big day that day.
Yeah, that's the best I've ever seen him play.
He definitely had a big day. Hey, I want to talk about a real team if I can, Mark Rogers.
Okay.
To the comment in the chat, can you remember a team that had the best quarterback, running back, wide receiver in the country.
Yeah.
The last team, I mean, I think Bama was close in 2020, although I don't think Najee Harris was the best running back in the country that year. I could be wrong, but I don't know if you had other teams in mind.
Well, I think that there are all sorts of teams we could bring up, but there's no definitive best quarterback, running back, or wide receiver. We could always state that they're elite or they were close. You know, was Mac Jones the best quarterback in the country? Maybe, but not necessarily.
Right.
Devontae Smith, it's hard to argue that he was not the best wide receiver. So that was one of those rare cases where I think we could almost get a consensus that the best was one guy, and there is a consensus. Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Ross, somebody brought up. I think Justin Ross would be not necessarily in serious running for the best at his position that particular year, but that's a decent go at it. USC sometime in the Pete Carroll era, Mark Sanchez, Reggie Bush. What do you go, Mike Williams at that point? Dwayne Jarrett?
Could have been Dwayne Jarrett. I was going to mention him. I thought he was their best receiver with the Bush Liner team.
Yeah, you got to go through and look at the quarterback position first and then see if you can tack on the other positions. So I don't know that Edwards Clyde Hilaire would get any votes for best running back in the country. He was certainly in the top 5 to 10 with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And then you've got, of course, you go with you're set at wide receiver there. And so, yeah, you just go year to year and look at quarterback play and start with that. But, yeah, there's quite a few candidates.
Yeah, just interesting thought for the offseason. By the way, just before I let you go, Mark, are you going to do the Buckeyes live when they do their spring game? Just for equal, just keep it on even footing here.
I'm going live as much as I possibly can over the next 3 weeks during these spring games. There's going to be a ton of them on the 9th, 16th, and 23rd. So, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. You have a good one, Mark.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. So Ferris had mentioned in the chat, why do we have these Michigan live streams and then all this negative Michigan talk? Because we've got other fan bases that come in here and they can talk about whatever they want. So, and the phone lines are open. So if Michigan fans want to call in and praise the maize and blue, and we've seen some fairly spectacular plays just in the recent series on both sides. Next call up here at the Voice of College Football. Appreciate that one coming in. Who's on the line?
Hello, Mark. It's Joe, Real MVP. How you doing this morning?
I am doing just fine. What's going on?
Well, there's been a controversy in Uncle Lou's chat that I would like to mention when it comes to Big Ten football.
Okay.
And I would like your opinion on it. So apparently 7-8 years ago, the Big Ten had a rule implemented that you must play one Power 5 opponent in your non-conference or equivalent.
Yes.
But the list of equivalents is suspect at best from what I'm able to find. So what I've seen so far is the equivalents can be Notre Dame, BYU, Army, Cincinnati, Connecticut, and Navy.
So
what are your thoughts about this rule?
My thoughts are that the rule is asinine. I like the rule as it states the Power 5 opponent requirement, and if it would just end it right there, Power 5 opponent, period. Or if they, and we know that there are Group of 5 teams that are better than Power 5 teams, so understand that. But see, again, this calls into question the length of time that it takes these teams to make the schedule, which is stupid, because I would make it that the group of 5 requirement would have to be based on their play on the field, but we don't know that so many years in advance. If somebody's going to schedule Houston, UCF, Cincinnati, got it. That is certainly the equivalent of 4 or 5 teams at least in each Power 5 conference. So I would be okay with that, but schedules are made so far in advance. Pretty much what the Big Ten did there was they went Power 5 or independent. Well, that's dumb. Connecticut's awful. Somebody else that you mentioned is awful.
Yeah, they're. I don't understand this rule. The schools I mentioned again was Notre Dame, BYU, Army, Cincinnati, Connecticut, and Navy. I haven't found anything more recent than that list. I've been looking for a bit.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Schools are horrible.
I remember when that rule was instituted, and then there was a lot made out of, okay, the Big Ten is forcing its teams to play a Power 5 schedule. And then I started seeing schedules come out, and I was like, well, this isn't adding up. Why is this team or that team? And I thought maybe there was some kind of grandfathering of schedules in. And then I saw what you're alluding to, that there's this addendum with these other schools, and it makes no sense.
Well, it's just another example of the Big Ten and their knowledge on another level we can't comprehend, like them being the 7th best conference in college football.
Yeah, worrying about being the 7th best conference, and certainly not understanding or being too logical in their approach to the pandemic and when they could play and when not play. That made no sense.
Hey, Mark, but something else I'd like to bring up is you asked me during the Michigan show you had to bring up my comment that Alabama and Ohio State is closer than the gap between Ohio State and Clemson.
So are you talking about today? Are you talking about all time?
I'm talking about all time.
Okay,
all
that's
time
what I
was
thought.
mentioned in the comment.
Well, considering that,
issue with it?
Well, yeah, I've got an issue. I reread it and didn't have as much of an issue, but when I initially read it, I thought, well, isn't that an obvious statement? For one thing, I don't know that anybody can make a distinction between Ohio State and Alabama all time, unless they're really riding on national championships. And if they want to, that's fine. I think that's a flawed statistic, but if you put it all together, they're razor close. So I'm not going to call Ohio State the greatest college football program of all time, nor am I going to call Alabama the greatest program of all time, because again, I've gone through the measurements and even put context to the measurements. So I just don't go by sheer numbers, but if you put it all into context, I think it's just razor close. And if somebody wants to call in here and say Alabama is the greatest football program of all time, I will not debate that in any such way. I will give it opposing sides just to have a discussion. And if somebody called in and said Ohio State's the greatest program of all time, I would, again, not argue that. I would argue that. I would argue against it, just, again, to have a conversation, but I wouldn't say that they're wrong. But Clemson's down. Like, to say Clemson's not close to, I think your comment was, you were making a statement that Alabama is the best program of all time and Ohio State's closer to them than Clemson is to Ohio State. Well, Clemson's like 15, 20 in that range.
Well, yeah, I would agree about that. But sometimes, Mark, the obvious has to be said, because what me and you may seem as obvious may not be obvious to other people. Like, for instance, you have somebody that says in your chat that Nick Saban is washed, for example.
Well, yeah.
So sometimes you got to say the obvious, because you can't assume anything. Or wasn't Steve Dace trying to say like a few weeks ago that Michigan this year might be better than last year?
Steve Dace.
Yeah, you're
You
the
said
guy you
Steve
do the
Case.
Tuesday show with.
Yes, he fully believes that.
Yeah, I thought he's. Yeah. Again, sometimes the obvious has to be said, and that's not going to happen. Sorry, Michigan fans. They lost Aiden Hutchinson, right?
They did.
And they lost to Son Haskins.
They did.
Yeah. Was Ohio State better when they lost Chase Young?
No. Took a big hit on defense.
Right. And is Michigan obviously isn't to the level of Ohio State, but if Ohio State can lose somebody that good and get worse, Michigan's in a whole lot worse situation. That's all I got to say about that. Mark, what are you looking forward to in the spring game? Like, is there anything that when you watch a casual spring game that pops out and you said, this team is better than I thought, or maybe worse than I thought?
Well, I got to say that this Michigan spring game, number one, is being played in a more legitimate fashion than most. It's, there's more hitting. It's more physical. The quarterbacks are live except for McNamara. They put the white shirt on him, so no hitting Cade. But besides that, everybody else, they're playing football, so it's a little bit more legit. But in your typical spring games, I think we get more from the passing game and the matchup of the wide receivers and the DBs than we can get and validate or legitimize from the other positions, because it's almost game conditions. It's almost like 7-on-7 to a certain extent at wide receiver and DB. You see who the better player is in those matchups. So I think we get a lot out of that. I got to say, I miss football so much from the end of the regular season or the national playoff championship game to the spring games, is that, spring games, let's get excited. And then you start watching a spring game and you realize, okay, they're practicing. So I don't know that there's anything that I'm going to gather from this. Again, as was stated in the chat, and I said it before, a number of people jumped in on the same topic, is that we've got J.J. McCarthy, who's injured. And if he's injured long term, then you got Cade McNamara, who is the starter. Michigan's backup quarterbacks behind that look, and usually if you get to a third backup quarterback, it's understandable that they're going to be pretty bad. And I see that here. But the guy that got the ball most to start the game, Donovan Edwards, is a guy that I'm excited to see play a lot for Michigan, because he's their best hope for a game changer.
Okay. And the final thing I'd like to ask you about is I'd like to shift gears a bit. And I was thinking about a comparison for Stetson Bennett, okay?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if this is the Stetson Bennett, great quarterback, but he doesn't have a lot of support still. He reminds me a lot of Alex Smith when he was with the Chiefs and he was winning tons of games, but everybody was still waiting on Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
What do you think about that comparison?
At their levels, I can make that comparison. Obviously, Alex Smith is a zillion times better than Stetson Bennett. Alex Smith was a number one pick in the NFL draft and has put together a nice NFL career, almost went to a Super Bowl, all that. Played, as you know, being a Chiefs guy, for some really good Chiefs teams and went to playoffs. So, you got to drop down the comparison to the college level. Sure, there's a comparison. There's a guy waiting in the wings who's got all the talent in the world that everybody wants to see play, who's not proven anything yet, versus the guy that people are kind of tolerating because there's a ceiling.
Well, Mark, that's all I got for you today. Make sure to hit the like on the video because we got college football back. And we're only less than 100 subscribers from Mark hitting 34,000 subscribers. So let's hit that sub button.
The real MVP. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. See you next time.
See ya. You see on the ticker down below, our lines are open at 860-499-3332. Exploring with Ben, you going to do an Oregon Spring Game show stream if I can find it anyways. Hey, if we can find it, anything we can find, I will do a live stream. Although I did not do Syracuse on Friday night. I was busy on Friday night. I did not do Syracuse on the ACC network, and I'm sure that let so many people down that wanted to see a Syracuse live stream. But we're going to be here every Saturday through the 23rd for sure. I'll have to look at the schedule for the 30th. And there's a smattering of Thursday and Friday games. I don't know if we're going to be able to find those, but if we can, we'll be here. No running clock. And again, stakes are on the line. Stakes are at stake. Harrison with a catch for Michigan. Alan Bowman is still leading the Blue offense with a 5-point lead, nursing the 5-point lead. Now, what happens with Cade McNamara? Does he get a stake? I guess if you win the Big Ten championship as a starting quarterback, you're secure with a stake. So he couldn't be a loser in this game. It's got to be getting a stake. Yes, the poor Orange and Dino Babers, which reminds me, this week we'll be releasing our coaches' rankings. I've knocked out the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the ACC. So all of you want to see where Dino Babers is ranked, I'm sure. So I'm going to release those videos starting Monday. Next week is Coaches Rankings Week here at the Voice of College Football. I'll release the 5 conferences and then unveil the top 10. So the play-by-play guy suggested that Cade McNamara eat with both the winners and the losers. Eat the steaks, but the hot dogs as well. I'm guessing that these guys are eating at the same time, so that might be a bit difficult. Bowman, miscommunication. And as you see on the ticker down below, our phone lines are open at 860-499-3332. I will also remind everyone that we would love to know who you root for. So hit me up at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Who is your team? We are keeping a list. We are keeping track. I would love to have an accurate count on our fan base distribution here at the Voice of College Football. All right, Bowman going deep on this one. What happened? Yeah. Miscommunication. Classic case of that. Joe's here. Go Irish. If we can pick up Notre Dame spring game, we will be here. We are going to be here every Saturday during the spring games. Bowman gets a little pressure and delivers. Alan Bowman, remember, 33 touchdown passes at Texas Tech and projected starter by many going into 2020 and now way back in the discussion. Ferris, of course, ESPN has a contract with every major conference. They've got a contract with every conference. Every conference. Andrew says, who's the best team in your opinion on the West Coast going into the 22 season? All right. Are we considering the West Coast truly the West Coast or just out West, Pac-12 Mountain West? If that's the question, then it is Utah. But that's a good question because we also have Oregon, USC in the mix. And I think that's a close call, but I'm going to go Utah as well. Cam Rising's coming back. We saw their offense really generate yardage and points against a porous Buckeye defense, but still an Ohio State defense. And they played so much better once they put Cam Rising in the lineup, replacing Charlie Brewer. They were just a different team after about week 3. So they do lose personnel, and we will talk more about Utah. And yes, that's a huge game. I believe it's September 3rd, correct? Is that not the first Saturday? But whoa, Nelly college football game, Utah, Florida. I would actually rather see Utah, Florida than the Oregon, Georgia game because I just think it's going to be much closer. And yes, the Ducks lose Kayvon Thibodeau, but they should be improved at quarterback minus Anthony Brown plus Bo Nix, who we expect to win the starting job over Butterfield and Thompson. And that is going to be our conversation on Sunday. We're going to be live on Sunday, tomorrow, Sunday, 5 Eastern. And our number one topic, unless something hits us that's more important between now and then, is going to be quarterback battles across college football. Please check out either my tweet or on the community tab right here, the community page on YouTube. I posted the quarterback battle poll. Which is the most important of the quarterback battles? Oregon. You got Bo Nix going up against Jay Butterfield and Ty Thompson. We've got a quarterback battle going on at Texas with Hudson Card, Malik Murphy, and of course, Quinn Ewers. We've got a quarterback competition, possibly Dewey at Penn State. Sean Clifford should be the starter. Drew Aller is just a true freshman, but a 5-star, close to a 5-star. Penn State possible quarterback competition, but probably no real quarterback competitions by the upper echelon in the Big Ten. We would have had one, Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy. In the SEC, we've got the Texas A&M quarterback competition. Haynes King, who won the job coming out of camp last year, but got hurt in week 2 or 3. And Max Johnson. And then also Connor Weigman, the 5-star, is competing for the job at Texas A&M. Florida, Anthony Richardson, Jack Miller. Stephen, thank you so much. Appreciate the comment there. Quarterback competition. So that's going to be our discussion as we go live with all of you Sunday at 5 Eastern. Oregon, Texas, LSU quarterback competition. Jaden Daniels, Miles Brennan. Is there a quarterback competition at Clemson? I think not. But Cade Klubnik, considering DJ Uiagalele's struggles last season. Whoa, Nelly. Is it true JT Daniels is transferring to Minnesota State? Yep. To get that fine coaching. First-rate coaching. Of course, Andrew, appreciate you being here. Who do I think will have a better defense this year, Utah or Oregon? I haven't really dissected the personnel, but off the top of my head, I believe that Oregon had an exceptional defense last year. And even though they lose Kayvon Thibodeau, most of the pieces are coming back, and they picked up some key transfers in the secondary from Colorado, and I'm missing the other one. Phone lines open 860-499-3332. 860-499-3332. Rob knows the deal. Someone call. Keep Mark on. Otherwise, I get kind of bored. And Alex in the game now for Michigan. Did you just hear Alex? And I just found out about this guy yesterday listening to our Michigan spring game preview, courtesy Justin Rowe, Blue by 90 podcast. Check it out. Even though the spring game's already being played, you'll learn a lot about Michigan football. But in the game for Michigan right now is Alex. Hold your comments. Don't make fun. Alex Orgy. Skyler, the Michigan defense is going to be stout. Maybe not dynamic on the edge. We can in no way expect the Hutchinson Ajabo replacements to be as good. And the defense, though, is going to play the same scheme. You got to consider all these players are playing with more comfort and familiarity because the scheme's going to be the same now for a second straight season that they learned under Mike McDonald last year. Daxton Hill's a big loss, and so is I'm blanking on the linebacker they lost. Led the team in tackles. Shoot, big-time linebacker, but maybe a step slow. That Junior Colson is pretty much going to emerge as being that next guy. But Dax Hill's a huge loss, of course, and Brad Hawkins. Thinking of Josh Ross, of course. Still got a 14-9 game. Folks, we've got a West Virginia live stream coming your way tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And please subscribe to our West Virginia channel here at the Voice of College Football. 8 p.m. tonight, 8 Eastern Time. And again, Sunday at 5. She's got a helmet for us, which I guess Exploring with Ben tells me one's on the way. You can send helmets or anything else you would like to add to our set or send me at Mark Rogers, 15 South Main Street, number 1007, Torrington, Connecticut, 06790. And again, would love to get a ton of emails from everyone. If you have yet to email me with who's your team, how long you've been watching, and any funny stories you have or just interesting stories, background about yourself, your family, and how long you've been watching and how you got into college football, whatever you want to write me, who's your team at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. And the number's down on the ticker, 860-499-3332, which when do we have a gap in phone calls usually? People are shy today. And we've got a small little gathering for the Michigan game today. Exploring with Ben. Appreciate you being here. Yes, where's the phone call from Christopher? We can talk about his proficiency rankings. All right. The blue looks in pretty good shape at this point to be eating steak. Ribeyes, my steak, my go-to. Ribeye. Yeah. I see that we've got some real charges, I understand, against Will Smith. For as much as I'm going to do my best to ignore that. Whoa, Nelly, the all-time king of, he played there forever, is Miami kicker Carlos Huerta. Carlos Huerta, really? Okay. I don't recall anything in particular there. You know, I would think the king of that category would be somebody now, because we're seeing guys extend to 7th seasons because if they got a red shirt, if they had a medical situation that gave them an extra year due to injury, and then the COVID year, we're looking at guys with 7th seasons. Look at big play down to the 5-yard line with Bredesen. All right. So the Blues in good shape here to win a stake. 1st and goal. Double pass on the reverse. Wide open. But Carlos Huerta, 4 seasons. Whoa, Nelly. 4 seasons for Carlos Huerta. Maybe it just seemed like forever for you, but he got himself a couple national championships. John, that could be. Harbaugh could be a softie and just give in and let everybody feast. JT Barrett with 37 seasons with the Buckeyes. But yeah, now we've got guys with 7 seasons. James Skalski played 7 years at Clemson, correct? I believe Skalski goes from 2015 through 21, while it's showing here 2016 through 21. So that would be 6 years, but he might have redshirted in 2015. There are guys with 7 seasons. Oh, Ferris. Don't do that to me today. The irate tie caller, who I guess is blaming me for the invention of ties. Vandy Dandy. Look at this. This is what I love seeing, is when somebody steps up and they are a fan of a team that doesn't get any hype, any pub, any attention, and who, let's just say it, basically sucks. Vandy Dandy has been rooting for a team since 2000, forever, for a long time. 3.8 wins per year. God bless you, Vandy Dandy. Good for you. I love that. Vandy Dandy. Hit me up, Vandy Dandy, at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. We're taking a poll. I'm trying to get an accurate count of our fan base, our viewer base here at the Voice of College Football. Who you root for? MarkRogersTV at Gmail. How long you been watching? Who you root for? I know it's going to be Vandy, but I want a count. I am tallying things up. I could actually go to the count and let you know where we stand at this point. Let's see here. Numbers down below, 860-499-3332. find this list. Here it is. Here's our fan base count, and excuse my counting because I got to count this up because it wouldn't allow me to count it each section. So anyway, this is our fan base count to date. So if you've not written in, please do MarkRogersTV at Gmail and let us know. It's on the banner right there. Let us know who you root for and tell me anything else you want to tell me about your fandom. And of course, join us on Discord. But this is for who is your team? Okay. So far, NC State 1, Miami 6, Florida State 4, Virginia 2, Georgia Tech 1, Nebraska 8, Ohio State 38, Michigan 39, Penn State 2, Michigan State 8, Minnesota 1, Iowa 1, Wisconsin 2, LSU 2, 3, Arkansas 2, Tennessee 1, Alabama 4, Kentucky 3, Georgia 1, Texas A&M 1, Oregon 3, USC 8, Colorado 1, Arizona State 1, Oklahoma 5, West Virginia 3, Texas Tech 1, Texas 1, Notre Dame 3. That's our count. So please write in MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Lowson Lockett. What are the expectations for Michigan this season? What are their expectations? They better be to win a Big Ten championship and go from there. If they're a truly elite or see themselves as elite, then it should be championship or bust in the Big Ten, and then you go from there. Like, I would hope that even though a national championship is the standard at Alabama, of course, Georgia, Ohio State, I guess Clemson should be, that you can't win the national championship until you win the conference championship. And we know that there's been a couple teams here and there that have had a shot at winning a national championship without winning the conference, but you basically have to win the conference. So win the conference, and especially if you're in the SEC, that's going to take care of itself. Then you can't do anything about the playoff till you get to the playoff. So my goal would be get to the playoff, win the conference, get to the playoff. We'll take care of the national championship run then. Yes, the real MVP. There is a Colorado fan that watches. They responded. I thought I had more votes than this, actually. Ohio State and Michigan are in the high 30s, around 40. And then it drops way off after that. So please write in MarkRogersTV at Gmail. Let us know who you root for. Well, folks, I believe we've come to a conclusion here. Although the Mays, they've got a shot. They got a shot. They're down at the 15-yard line, and they're going to throw into the end zone. We could see an onside kick situation here. So let's see what happens with the Stakes versus the Dogs deal here. Maybe Alex Orji. I'm sure there's a line there somewhere. I'm sure he can make his play for the starting job here. Can Billy Napier bring Florida back to an Alabama-Georgia type status and program? He could. That's going to be extremely difficult to do. They're going to have to pump more money into Florida football, as I've heard that Florida, for as much as Dan Mullen was not invested in recruiting, nor was the athletic program, and maybe Dan Mullen had something to do with that, invested in spending the kind of money that those schools are in recruiting. But they've got the tradition, they got the fan base, they got the money, they got the facilities. I think I shouldn't comment on that. I don't know about Florida's facilities, but they are located in the right place in the country to win big. Tim's here. Tim's showing up late in the process. Appreciate you being here, man, Tim. I'm sure it's nice and early for you. Kaepernick gets the thumbs down from Vaughn. Yeah, he didn't look ultra impressive there at halftime. His first handful of throws or so, he was throwing it where he needed to. Then they started to run the deep routes and the deep corners, and he did not look like an NFL quarterback today. The guy's 34, 35 years old, 33, 34, in that range. Let's see. And he's not played for 5 years. When you see NFL quarterbacks in that type of situation, and I understand he wasn't throwing to his guys, but when you see NFL quarterbacks put on that type of throwing exhibition with all the various routes, it's super impressive. Ferris letting us know it's cold. Okay. J-Dub, thank you for commenting on the facility. Substandard comparatively, but they're in construction on several new complexes and amenities. Okay. Thank you for the update there. Stephen, we will be here every week during the spring games. Stephen asking, why is the big house almost empty? I think that was Ferris jumping in, not necessarily responding to my Kaepernick comments, but the stadium being empty. Yeah, I was a bit surprised the lack of people there for a spring game, considering that I understand the weather's not great. It's 40 degrees there, but that they just won the Big Ten championship. Okay, so they score to make it 20-12. There's 37 seconds left. They've got an onside kick, but they are not doing an onside kick, whatever that means. What are they going to do? Okay. So instead of having an onside kick, they're giving the Mays the ball back, and they've got to convert a 4th and 10. Yes, you would think so, Stephen, that Nebraska is going to be sold out. You got to hand it to those Nebraska fans. I can't think of another place in the country that sells out when their team sucks. We've seen in recent years, USC's taken a huge hit in attendance. UCLA's taken a huge hit in attendance since they've been bad. Florida State's taken a huge hit in attendance, not to the extent of USC or UCLA, but Florida State, their attendance has been down. I'm trying to think. Now, when Michigan was bad 10 years ago under Rich Rod and Brady Hoke, I know that they had a few seasons where the attendance was a bit less than what you would expect of Michigan, not the 111,000 packed house. They had 5 to 10,000 empty seats, but I'm talking about at USC, UCLA games, and even Florida State games the last couple of years. You're talking, 50,000 people. At USC games, you're talking 30, 35,000 people. So those places have taken a huge hit. Now, Texas, I'm not positive. I haven't seen a drop off at Texas. Here we go. 4th and 10. Games on the line. They got it done. Okay. Little drama here. And if somebody wants to call them in, the lines are still open at 860-499-3332. Okay. Let's check this out. 23 seconds. So they're going to reset the sticks. They should have at least 3 plays, if not more. They've got no timeouts, though. They should still get 3 plays. No, no, you can't do that. Can't do that. Now they've got no plays. 1 play. They'll have 1 play. Oh, they stopped the clock. Rob J, that guy that Mark has on his Nebraska channel is awesome. That's our guy, Greg Peterson, Husker Online. Greg is a good guy. He is absolutely a good guy. All right, 13 seconds, 2 plays. Okay. Oh, did he tackle him inbounds? Yes, he did. They're not going to have time to get set and go. Ball game. The blue. Everybody's favorite. Everybody bet on the blue, right? You had the blue. I had the blue. Blue beats the Maize 20-12. When they divided the rosters and had their draft, I certainly thought the blue has it. This is going to be a 1-score game, but it's definitely blue. Ferris, that's the way it's supposed to work out, right? Go blue, blue wins. Blue gets the stakes. Defense wins the game. Uncle Rico, we are all losers here. Thanks for that confirmation, Uncle Rico. Appreciate that. All right, we've got a final in the books at the big house. The blue beats the Maize 20-12. If anybody can tell me which NFL playoff game ended with a score 20-12 that comes to mind right now, let me know. All right, let's hear from Harbaugh. All right. Harbaugh is going to eat with the losers. You make your joke. Take it from there. Harbaugh says he likes the hot dogs. He's going to eat with the losers. Okay. Ferris, this puts in my top 25. That actually makes sense now that Michigan has played its lone spring game ahead of everybody else. All the heavyweights. We got like MAC schools playing today. Michigan firmly entrenched at number 1 in the top 25. That actually makes sense. Well, we appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to sign off. Nobody wanted to call. So I'm going to sign off. And we'll be back at 8 o'clock tonight, 8 Eastern, West Virginia Live. And then Sunday at 5. Sunday at 5, we're going to talk quarterback battles and anything else you'd like to talk about when we've got the phone lines open. Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And again, tonight, West Virginia Live at 8 Eastern, right here at the Voice of College Football. Appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much for your support. And we will see you soon. Ferris, yes, great show. Thanks to you and everybody else. Rob J, thank you. Joe, good to see you. Dog named Brutus. We'll see you next time. Appreciate you being here, Exploring with Ben. Everybody hit the like button on the way out, and see you tonight for the West Virginia Live Show, 8 Eastern, here